Okay, guys, just going to pop through a preview for the Launceston meeting on the 30th of July. As we can see, there are 12 races, so we'll jump into them pretty quick, otherwise we'll be here forever. The first 2-year-olds, full field. Also, I'm always a little bit loath to back 2-year-olds at this time of the year. Pure facts of the matter are a lot of them are only in work to try and get their 2-year-old wins, which is only to be expected as there's obviously the amount of money on offer. You've got to have a crack, but obviously a few of them probably should be in the paddock, and the form can sometimes fluctuate a fair bit. But from what we've seen, there probably appear to be 4, maybe 5 major chances if we just run through them. 22 Carat, she improved last time when she led and boxed on pretty well. Jeanette Barry's been competitive in the 2-year-old fillies features. Invictus, son of, what's the mare, Guinevere's Lancelot, actually did like his trial the other day as well. Pretty, do think the winner of the trial, what's his name now here, this, or something. I think it's horse with a bit of upside. And Pessimistic, his last start was pretty average, but form prior definitely gives him a good chance. And Tissue Spirit, going well enough to figure, it's just an awful draw over the mile. So, like if he goes forward, probably has to work hard, and if he goes back, has to circle a lot of them. So, and logical speed map probably suggests that the first 4 I mentioned are the ones. You'd imagine 22 Carat looks first to the pegs, Jeanette Barry outside it. Invictus trails through behind them, and Pessimistic probably follows Invictus. So, you'd imagine one of that quartet wins. Think if Jeanette Barry works to the front, she's probably near a good thing. But if she sits posted, it opens the race up for the other trio. So, yeah, an interesting start. I'll probably be staying out, but be surprised if one of that quartet didn't win. Play multiples. Class Tells is a honest filly, and keep playing. He's got its share of ability, but obviously the draws no help over the sprint trip. The second, very tough race this. Got a number of go forward horses off the front row. If you have a look, like Flash Anatomy's got a bit of gate speed. Generally does race with cover, but Thelston King, our Maxicam, Come On How's That, Lord Stark, all noted leaders. So should be enough tempo on which might set it up for a sit sprinter, and I think probably the 2 in the race that come into play in that manner would be Regal Major, who had no luck whatsoever last time. Held up until the race was all over and charged home. And Bolton Mac, like he's got into a bottom-up C1 to 2 race here. It was only 12, 18 months ago he was competitive in decent C4 to 5 races. So he's a beneficiary of the 10-start rules, getting back into winnable races, and maps to get a pretty good run in transit as well. So just a little bit iffy with the draw with Regal Major. A bit of speed underneath him, and probably a bit of speed came from outside him, so not entirely sure he gets too early. But I think, if Regal Major drew where Bolton Mac did, I'd happily have him on top. But probably forced to pick one, I'd pick Bolton Mac from the draw. But if Regal Major gets luck in running, obviously going to be right in the mix. So, but very open race, but just settling on that couple. The third is the higher points division of the C1 to 2s. Interesting race in that a lot of the more favoured runners have drawn awkwardly. You've got the ultra consistent Entree Main Dessert in pole, pretty set. Corrado Stardust is also very consistent mare. Ultimate Courage hasn't been far away. Safari Rose, interesting runner. She's a noted short course speedster in Victoria. I don't think she's ever raced over this trip, sort of been kept for mile racing. But she does have very good gate speed, so if she found the front, you'd imagine a big stablemate might come and look her in the eye, and the lead might even be there. So, and if found the front, it wouldn't be pretty as he just whacks away at the same speed, but highly doubt they'd get past him. Busted, super honest. And the bottom 2 horses obviously got the ability to figure, but probably need a few favours from the draw. Oliver's Mate, I actually think it's start number 10 for him. I hate backing horses having their 10 start, as it's hard to sort of put into words without saying they're not trying, but if you just think that in reality, if you win at your 10th start, you're almost pissing $5,000 against the wall. Yeah, that's putting it bluntly. But so it's hard to see him being driven aggressively. If the race pans out, he'll probably, obviously still win, but I reckon he'll probably be driven quietly. And Owen Jacker pretty need a speed wire up front from that draw to win. So say what's the one you keep coming back to. He'll make his own luck on speed. And if he happened to work his way to the front, he's probably near a good thing, but pretty tricky race. Talking of tricky races, the 15 horse 2200 metre stand, first 200 metres vitally important. Like if you only just got to think of, like, Smiling Jeff's done nothing wrong at all. Resumed with 2 effortless wins. He has had things made to order, but he still put the races to bed pretty quickly. So happily got him on top. But if he's even slightly slower to begin, and he could settle last, and you can't win from if you settle 15th. So just tricky race to get involved in from a betting perspective. And to be honest, there's not too many horses you could happily put a line through here and say they can't win. Front row horses do have a huge advantage, even though they obviously draw the front because they're lower graded. But actually, if you want to have a couple of bucks on one at huge odds, I thought Hooper Road ran a much improved race last week, so might be one just trending in the right direction, and just just in a race it's difficult to. Forced to pick one, I'd go Smiling Jeff, but but you can make a case for most of them if they step well and land in the right spot. But Hooper Road might be one going around at silly odds. The fifth seems to be a theme of the day. It's very even race. This, I think, like last week we had Parmisano, Devil of Tyne, Timely Sovereign, Ebony All Stars, Paint the Wind, went round in the same race. I think there was probably about 2 metres between the 5 of them. Actually might go and have a look at that replay. So Parmisano was in the race, so we'll just go on. That's his last win. I hit the wrong race, sorry.
Is the moment, but it has got a bit of time.
So we'll just actually, if we just go through them, here's Devil of Tyne, Ebony All Stars outside the leader. This was a mile race. Here's Parmisano. And we go back to Paint the Wind here, and Timely Sovereign's last. I might just pause it here on the turn and we'll let it roll. So the 5 horses in this race, so we've got Timely Sovereign and Paint the Wind. They both smashed the clock late. I think they both almost broke 28 seconds last quarter. The others, we've got Ebony All Stars, who death seed all the way, Parmisano 3 deep with cover, and Devil of Tyne is probably the one who's going to go around at silly odds in this race. I think you're going to get juicy double figure odds about him, and like you can make an argument he probably should have won if he got a gap. If he gets out here, he doesn't go to the line hard held or anything, but so so you can see the other two. So we'll pause it there. So obviously finish the lines here. So we've got Ebony All Stars, Paint the Wind, Timely Sovereign, Parmisano here, and Devil of Tyne there. So they've almost run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this race, and there's virtually nothing between them. So and from the draws here, it's probably not going to be much between them again. The one thing I will say is that I've been Devil of Tyne since he's joined the Kate McLeod stable. He hasn't had any luck at all. I had to say I got a phone call, so I sort of stopped halfway through, so it might be a little bit disjointed. I think I was talking about Devil of Tyne, so I'll pick it up from there. I'm just saying that since he joined Kate McLeod's stable, he hasn't had any luck at all. So I've been waiting for him to draw the lead, and I doubt he'll be able to capture me early. So, but I still think, if you're going to go around a good double figure odds worth a couple of bucks in a very tough race, so you even got, Baldock at the back, sheer strength. Damn it, Sam. Yeah, so very, very tough affair. Not much between, as we pointed out in that replay. All five of them, there was nothing between them last time. So I think Paint the Wind's probably, if I had to pick one, I'd go with him, but inside the second row, it's hard to bet with confidence. So probably go shopping for value and a couple of bucks on Devil of Tyne. The sixth, Ken 2 Stars, a black book last week. I will say though, I don't think the draw is as good as it looks on paper. He's not blessed with abundant gate speed, and there's a bit of speed underneath him, so could be interesting to exactly where he gets to early. Shadow Control in a much improved race last time. Eternal Shadow draws to get every hope. Be interested to see if Shadow Control, you'd imagine, is the leader. Master Leon wasn't that bad when it resumed, but highly doubt it'd have the speed to hold leaders back, so might be if Eternal Shadow jumps straight in behind, it might get the gun run. LJ's Miner's Joy, both honest. Haley's Comet's been extremely well placed its past few. Maps to get a good run again. Probably not the best half a dozen horses in the race, but it's probably going to get the right run. And the fillies down the bottom obviously all got class, but have to overcome bad draws. So very tough race. I'll stick with Ken 2 Stars, but as I mentioned, I'm a bit concerned about exactly where he gets to early, but still happy to have him on top. The seventh, Hugo Play resumed and did enough to suggest he's come back sort of near the top of his game. Simple facts are, if he's right, he's better than these. And whilst the resuming run wasn't out of this world, it was still sort of good enough to suggest he's around the top of his game, as I said. So happy to have him on top. Very tough to sort out the remainder. You can make a case for virtually every one of them. So I just think Jean's Majesty's going along the right path at the moment. Timmy got better its last 3 or 4 starts, so it's probably the one. But yeah, I think Hugo, if he steps, he wins. I think it's pretty much as simple as that. Race 8, Sign of a Tyne. Backed him for a good result first up. Did all the work outside of Mad pulling leader and got run down on the line. Going to have to work again from the draw, but still happy to have him on top. McAdams, just super honest, just lacks a turn of foot's probably his only downfall, but does look the leader and he'll sort of certainly take running down. Svensson, definitely going to win a race in the near future. Holly Halo, tough draw for her, but definitely got the ability to feature. First Ilva, Bigsy Neptune's been okay at the trials, and the old Panda and even really Frank been running home well. So do think Sign of a Tyne, he'll be on speed making his own luck, and happy to be on. Race 9, smallest field of the day, but probably still the toughest race to sort out. We've got Det Till We Part in Runwick, who staged a great tourist race last time. Ordan Star led and won probably a weaker race last week, but might just be the leader again. And Bouquet of Roses beat the fillies last time and takes on the boys here, but still really impressed with the way she savaged the line on debut. So from what I saw, I think from the barrier, Det Till We Part's probably the one I'll stick with. No real confidence. Very hard to line up the strength of the form Bouquet of Roses race, but huge respect for her, and the family do usually progress through a prep. So Yeah, not much. I'd be very surprised if it's not sort of, don't look like 3 or 4 winning hopes at the 100 metre mark, so I'm not much help to anybody there. Race 10's also a tricky one despite the small field. Logical speed map says spot 8 lead, Spitfire Rose outside it. Spitfire Rose clear top pick for mine, but I just think the way it maps, you're going to have a couple of very dangerous sit sprinters. Like Grinnable's going to be leaders back. Chirac and Mellow Lynn have both been running very good sectionals late, and they're going to be close enough, courtesy of the small field, to be dangerous. So just might be a tricky race, tricky drive for Owen Hadley. Like if he puts too much pressure on, he's vulnerable. If he doesn't put enough pressure on, spot 8 might sneak away with it. So and not much value in any of the prices. So one of those tough races to get overly involved in. But I just really like the way she's come back this time in Spitfire Rose. So she's still clear top pick for mine. The 11th for the mares, all my savings. Very interesting runner. I think 2 starts ago she ran 6th in a Group 1 race. Does have very good gate speed as well. So I'd imagine she'd get used up early. She found the front. She can tend to over race a little, but if we'll just actually go and have a look at the form there. We're in race 11. You see, like 2 starts ago at Melton, $120,000 race. Got beaten 16.9 metres in a Group 1 race. That being said, the Vic bred 4-year-old mares is virtually a Group 1. Trying to not be too impolite, but they're terrible. So it's virtually a C1 dressed up as a Group 1, but still going to be mighty competitive here. Birtle's Delight she's had a flashing light on her for a while. Can never back her with confidence as needs things made to order, but Ricky Duggan, perfect driver for this type of horse. And the 3 mares down the bottom all going very well. Sparkling, Lockaway, Casey, Jillaby, GG. So I think all my savings, I've got a leading, so I think if she leads, happy to have her on top, and probably have a save for Birtle's Delight. So but you'd respect the bottom 3, but do think that Victorian form might hold up in this occasion. And in the last, the claimer, I'm Barney Rubble. If you just think that he was starting off 20 metres in Devonport Cup, was off, like he was on the same handicaps as Riverboat Jasper and horses like that, and here he is off the front in a claimer. It is on Barney Rubble though. It's probably a good thing Rowan Hillier hasn't got any hair, because he'd be making him pull it out anyway. He's got a few tricks, but you from the handicaps, you simply have to have him on top. Wash his chance. This grade, form's impeccable. Crowder Dazzler, super honest, but 20 metres over this trip makes things tough. Jukebox Music's another one, usually pings away. And even William Lee is going a bit better than figure form suggests. But can't believe I'm tipping on top. But Barney Rubble on top. So we've got 12 races. But I find it a very difficult card. A bit of value about. Be surprised if Hugo Play got beaten, but still a bit. I'm not going to take short odds one in a 2200 stand. So as far as best bets are concerned, I might have a bit of Tyne fever, because I'm going to make Sign of a Tyne my best bet. That's race 8, number 6. And at a bit of value, we'll have Devil of Tyne. So actually remember many years ago I used to really like a horse called Tyne Valley, so maybe that's still stuck with me. So that might sort of do it anyway, guys. I'll wrap it up there. tough card, but looks like a great night's racing. So anyway, we'll be back with you with a recap of the meeting probably early next week, but thanks again.